Leading off our discussion tonight is Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He's a member of the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol, and he is chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Congressman Schiff. We really appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Lawrence.
I've been linking up Sean Hannity's texts as your committee has revealed them with the reporting we have from Bob Woodward, Robert Costa, and other sources, trying to link up what else was happening while those texts were being pumped into the White House by Sean Hannity. But I assume you probably by now have a fairly precise tick-tock of January 5th and January 6th with all the witnesses you've been talking to.
That's one of the things that we've been working on from the beginning, which is to continue to fill in the sequence of these messages, of these conversations, and of these events so that we can see them in their chronological order and understand how one relates to another. But I think you also, Lawrence, very well described why both Hannity as well as the vice president are such important potential witnesses. Clearly, Hannity was privy to information about the possibility of the White House counsel leaving over the pressure put on Pence. He was very concerned about what was going to happen in the next 48 hours on January 5th before the attack of the following day. And what's more, the vice president, who was the subject of this pressure campaign, is in probably the very best position to talk about all of those who were reaching out to him, including the president, to try to get him to ignore his constitutional duty. Their testimony could very well inform our committee, the country, about how to protect ourselves going forward. And, we hope that both will decide to cooperate.
Sean Hannity has remained silent about your request for his cooperation. What have you heard from Sean Hannity's lawyer?
I can't comment on any communications between our staff and his lawyer or other counsel. But I can say, look, we're not interested, and I saw Sekulow, his counsel, make some public remarks. We're not interested in his commentary on Fox. We're not interested in, his political views or his role on that show. We are interested in him as a fact witness, what he observed, the communications that he had outside of that capacity. This was somebody who was a strategist for the president, who campaigned with the president, did a lot of things that are not journalistic in nature, that he should feel free to talk about, and we hope that he will.
On Vice President Pence's testimony, would you expect that he would be able to discuss, for example, what was happening to him during the attack on the Capitol? Because there are some security concerns involved in protecting the information about how a vice president is protected in a situation like that.
If he's willing to sit down with us, that's exactly the kind of thing that we would work out with him, with his lawyer, with his staff, to figure out if there are any sensitivities, how we can make sure that we get the information we need without compromising anything that would be required to protect any future vice president. But clearly, what's at the central core of our investigation is not in that category. It is, that pressure campaign on him to violate his constitutional duty, where that originated, what the president's role was, what different players were involved in that effort to subvert the will of the American people through their franchise. None of those things would compromise either his safety or that of any future vice president.
I'm going to talk to Lawrence Tribe in a moment about Attorney General's speech today. But I'm wondering if there's been some speculation that the Attorney General is waiting to move on an investigation of Donald Trump and others in terms of the insurrection, waiting for your work to be complete. Do you see any reason why the Attorney General should or would wait for your work on the committee to be complete?
No, not at all. And I don't agree with that speculation whatsoever. In my experience, the Justice Department asks Congress to wait. It doesn't itself defer to Congress in terms of moving forward with investigation or potential prosecution. And I hope that it's certainly not the case. They ought to be thoroughly investigating any substantial allegation of criminality surrounding the effort to overturn the election. And look, I'm very proud that he's running the department, and I think we got to see today there's once again a man of great integrity running that department. I would have loved to have heard him say that not only is he focused on the violent attack on January 6th, but also on other efforts to potentially violate criminal laws to subvert the election, including one that you've mentioned frequently, which is the effort in Georgia. The president on the phone with the Secretary of State of Georgia, trying to get him to stuff the ballot box effectively with 11,780 votes that don't exist. That needs to be investigated, and they can't be waiting for Congress on that. They shouldn't be waiting on the Fulton County DA on that. I can tell you when I was in the U.S. Attorney's Office in L.A., there was a case of that kind of national significance. We would never defer to the local district attorney. So it does concern me that there was no mention of the broader, multi-layered effort to subvert our Constitution and our election process. That, too, needs to be investigated.
Congressman Adam Schiff, thank you very much for starting off our conversations tonight.
Thank you.